Welcome to the Soul Signal podcast with Danielle and Veronica. Tune in and remember.
My name is Veronica, and this is our newly podcast, and we are so excited to be here and to talk to you guys about who we are, how we're starting this podcast, and what's to come in the future. So, Danielle, I'll leave it to you to introduce yourself.
Wonderful. My name is Danielle. Most of you know me as an Arizona resident, but over here in New England, we've been doing a lot of spiritual digging. Not that we haven't in Arizona. I think it all kind of began out there. But I do think most of us have awakened to a version of spiritual connection within life that we've all been missing. And I know that a lot of us have been searching for that sense of connection or remembering oneself, true self again. And I do think for many, we're either being called to a specific place or called to a vibrational temple within our oneself. And it's helping us align to who we're trying to become. So if any of you who know me know that me being out in Rhode Island is something my heart wanted. And so being here, I think, has really helped open and expand a version of my remembering that's bringing me forward to be the version that I'm trying to become. But I do want to say there's a lot that comes with growth or expansion in not only where you are, but where you came from. So I think I'd like to just talk first about how we all go through our own journeys and find our own selves and our own, let's call them star paths. We seem to ignite little stepping stones along the way that help us remember those pivot points or those energetic markers that help us align into our own constellation of what we get to look back at and enjoy. And so I think on a personal level, those who know me as a medical professional, and then a mechanical engineering and business owner. But I spend most of my fun time, my free time, talking to the stars and spiritually expanding on topics most, I would say 10 years ago, would call a conspiracy theory, or maybe even only find in sci-fi movies or super cool plots in books. But I think there's a level of human that's awakening to some more of the things that are non-physical. And whether you're journeying from one end of the coast to the other or up into the stars, I think it's time that we all get to enjoy that version of expansion and how that's going to look for us in our own individual journeys. So please enjoy this ride as we journey through the cosmos together, just two friends channeling our star guides, trying to figure out what it is to be human.
Yeah, I love the way you speak. Honestly, it just flows. You could just feel that fluidity of just everything coming to you.
I love that.
And yeah, and honestly, yes, join us for this ride. We have so much in store for you guys. And this first episode, we do want to talk about just like how we awakened and how, our journey started with, having those aha moments. I'm not just like a little puny human, all this stuff that's going on in my life. And I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys can relate to these things that happen constantly, and we're super excited of how much people have awakened now. My intuition was really on point. I was able to see spirit at a very young age. And I would say like people who have passed. And I do have very vague memories of, walking with my grandpa and my grandpa talking to me. And I mean, but for me, when I was younger, it was normal for me. I didn't think anything out of the ordinary of how this me seeing spirit was anything not normal. And I never told anybody. I was just so happy that my grandpa was visiting me and just would have late night chats with him. And so, after that, as growing up, my mom was very into crystals and saging and stuff like that. So that kind of did trickled down to me kind of. And I was really at all of like the crystals and everything. And she would kind of teach me a little bit about, cleansing the space to, and it was more basic. It wasn't very like galactic-y or any of that. It was just basically like you don't want spirits to come near you, like you just cleanse, you have crystals, they have meanings, and then that's pretty much it. But honestly, I think that was like the basic start for me, as in like getting into crystals and saging and knowing, how to cleanse my space. It that I held on to that as a child, and growing up as a teenager, I continued those rituals of cleansing and, crystals, and I always wore little necklaces and stuff. And so after that, I go about my day. I'm still doing these like loving crystals and doing all these things. And, as we get older, don't think anything of it. I've had very much many instances of like spirit trying to catch my attention, but I didn't want to ignore or cooperate or be part of that. So I always blocked it. I always blocked everything. I was like, nope, don't talk to me. Oh, nope, someone visited me. No, thank you. And so after a while, it worked. It worked. I always taught, we have free will, and we can tell them to leave and they don't have to be here if we say no. And so I basically that's all until I got to COVID, the good old COVID, that kind of got us all locked in. And this is really where my journey just pivoted, skyrocketed. Like I'm gonna say, I just started searching for one, I knew something about galactics, but not very much. I was like, I'm gonna search for, a lady who does past life regression and, searching, finally found someone, and it was online at first. Then I was like, you know what, that doesn't feel right. Found someone in person, and I, scheduled her. Her name's Myra. She's a very, very good friend of mine now. And so we did the session. I'm thinking, I'm having Egyptian lives. This is where it's gonna go. And basically, I told her that. I'm like, I think I've had a past life in Egypt. And she was like, okay, cool. Like, of course, like, let's go ahead, let's get into this. And I get into my first session. I'm, really going in it point blank, not thinking anything or expecting anything because I've never had a session before. And so I get in there, I land on a planet. It's a purple planet. I'm seeing rivers, I'm seeing forest, I'm seeing all these things. And a huge cat lion comes next to me and like puts out his hand, and I'm like walking with him. And I'm just at all like I've never seen this place before. What is this? I start seeing, Battle of Lyra, all these things. It's so emotional to me, and I'm not understanding why is this, where am I getting all this from? So detailed and vivid that when my guide came forward, immediately after she asked if he had any messages, and he immediately jumped in because I wasn't listening. I wasn't paying attention. Spirit's always trying to catch our attention.
Can, yeah.
Yeah. And I always feel like if I knew that they did this because I wasn't paying attention and they were sending me signs and signals for like the longest time, and I was just like do 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 do, like going around my about my day and not really paying attention. So they're like, this is the opportunity, let's go. And so that's why they jumped in and they're like, hey, we need to talk. Like, you need to know about this, who you are. And so I was like, oh. And so my whole body was vibrating. I was literally, I've never felt such a voltage come through my body like that. My voice changed. I started, speaking differently. And I was just like, what in the world? And the messages that came through were just insane. And then after that, I came out of the session and I vaguely remembered little small parts of it, but I definitely had to replay everything. But when I came out, my hands were like trembling because of the freaking frequency of what was running through my body. So from there, it pivoted and I just started exploring everything, channeling, hypnosis, you know, um,
Mm,
and I also learned discernment because I did channel something. What I was talking to you about earlier is that
mhm. That
when,
we wanted to make sure we brought up and we wanted to talk about
yeah,
because for a lot of us awakening to this because we do realize it's not just a you and me thing. We're all psychic, we're all
Absolutely.
mediums, we're all channeling, but
Yep.
are we doing this with discernment? And so I really would love for you to emphasize this or bring this up and talk about this because I truly wanted to make sure I wasn't speaking to anything that was disruptive or something that maybe I didn't know what I was doing. And so please,
Yeah.
please.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right. And that's something, I had to take a course on really discernment and frequencies of the galactics, angelics, and everything to really hone my abilities and to really be like, hey, well, I do have a certificate in channeling, honestly, but that the point is that I really needed those extra tools because I feel like everyone, if you're going to open yourself up, definitely be cautious, definitely go in it with someone that knows what they're doing, ask questions before you just, open yourself up vibrationally. It's really important. I was doing a session on someone, and when I started doing a session, I never set an intention. I never called in anything. I literally just went in opening myself up and not knowing. And so I basically, started channeling and a earthbound spirit came into my body. It did not feel right. The vibration, I'm so used to this high vibe where my heart's like imploding and I'm just like, oh, like loving energy. And so this did not feel like that. This felt very boom, like normal. I felt in the session that I was crying, but no tears were actually coming down my face. And the spirit was actually crying for something that they had done in their earth life. And I was not aware of anything. Obviously, when I'm trans channeling, I'm completely out of the picture. And so I remember going like sighing and stuff. And
Like the crying, breathing,
yes.
that
Mhm.
heavy
They were,
crying kind of.
yeah. And then I felt them say like they were sorry for what they did. So like they had did something bad, I guess. And they were telling the person that I was doing the session with that they were sorry for what they did. And
Mhm,
so I immediately got out of that channeling. I did not
mhm,
continue. And I was like, what in the world was that? So obviously she knew who I was channeling. It was a family member of hers that had passed away.
mhm,
And she was like, oh my God, yes, he did do something bad.
mhm. I think I'd like to clarify this isn't a
Yeah.
demon. This isn't a
Yeah.
shadow
No, no,
entity.
no, no,
This
no.
is a non-intentional energy present, a
Mhm.
non-harmful
Yeah.
energy
Mhm.
present, just wanting resolution,
Yeah.
just wishing to communicate. Because we can unintentionally, in a dark space, in a dark night, in a dark corner, in a dark feeling, in a dark moment, call out for some resolution. And sometimes in this physical limitation that
Yeah.
we call life on earth,
Yeah.
a lot of the things that either start or end begin and end with energetics. And I believe that there's a lot of us who are writing scripture or spelling or casting energetically
Mm.
unknowing. And
Absolutely.
so let's just rephrase that. It's so very important, like you just said, that original intention is gold. Setting that heart space is key.
It
Knowing what you're going in for, ask your questions and get out is vital.
hmm Yeah, absolutely. It really is. We all have free will, and believe it or not, an intention is powerful. Your words are powerful. You can block anything with your words, honestly. So please take that into consideration if you're doing any kind of spiritual work or anything like that. And so
Yeah, and let's clarify these spirits.
yeah,
Earthbound spirits too
yeah,
have free will, and
yes,
they've decided to be here to process, to digest, to
yeah,
data, to collect, to, and so it's important to know that you're communicating clearly with intention because they too are just looking for someone to talk to.
absolutely. And it was, someone that was living with, it was a family member of them that passed away. And I freaked out. I freaked out. Like I came out of the channeling like, "Oh my God, what was that?" Like and the girl was just I mean, the look on her face, she was like, "That's I wanted to talk to my guy." Like that's not and I was like, I don't know what happened." And there's where I made my first mistake. and I definitely learned from that mistake going forward. Obviously, it didn't deteriorate me from keep going on channeling. It was a lesson for me that I really had to learn about, to be like, hey, like, you cannot open yourself up like this, and you have to set intention. And so, I went forward. I took a class, I got some tools, I figured out,
Is that
vibrationally.
person that's doing the class that you took still doing
Yeah,
classes?
she's actually,
Wonderful.
I'll
Could you
give,
share
yeah,
that information for anybody who's interested or anybody who might come across this in the future? Yeah,
absolutely.
because if there is any sort of discernment that can be taught from somebody that knows, it would be wonderful to pass that information down to others. So yes.
Yeah, so her information is Spirit School. That's her name, the name of the school that she teaches channeling. And so she teaches just channeling, but she teaches you the basics of channeling, the frequencies. It's a whole course that you can look her up on Spirit School. Her name is Amy Sarkarsky, and she is a beautiful trance channel as well. And so I took her course. If you guys want to look her up, she's a beautiful, beautiful soul, who helped me along my journey as well. And I actually met her for the first time this year at the Conscious Life Expo. So she's one of the ones that came down and came all the way from Arkansas. So
Your
uh,
class was online.
yes, this is an online course that you can go. She teaches many other things too, but this is Spirit School. That's what it's called, I believe, and that's what she has, a lot more offerings. You guys can check it out. But going forward, she taught me a lot of things. I would always set intention, feel the vibration of what's coming in my body, and, obviously cast anything out that I don't want. And yeah, so going forward, started just dabbling and practicing channeling. That, thank God, never happened to me ever again. And I started to get to know my guide and how he comes in. And my guide always has the same intro, always, always. And that's how I know it's always him. The voice always sounds the same. It's him. And obviously, I can always get myself out of the channel if I needed to. Started dabbling in QHHT because that also struck me as something amazing, and helping people remember their past lives, healing them through, the healing of hypnosis. And that's just how my journey started. And it just has catapulted on. And I've been rambling, so now it's your turn.
No, not rambling at all. Lots of wonderful information. And you keep bringing up the phrase trance. And so I wanted to emphasize on that, the different modalities of channeling. And so if you'd like to, real quick, just talk about the differences.
Yes. So, for the ones that I know of, I know automatic writing is channeling through writing with a pen on paper. And then there is conscious channeling, where you are channeling with your eyes awake, and you are still able to, you know, um, be aware of everything, but still get information. So there's that
Mhm.
conscious channeling. And then the other one,
More like downloads, like
yeah.
throughout the day, like bloop, bloop.
Mhm. And then the other one that I've heard, I think this is a stream channeling, is where, like,
Mhm.
just like a stream of information comes to you all at once, and you're still conscious, but you're also s- speaking the words out. Um,
Mhm.
and then obviously it's trance channeling, where it's like you're completely out of the picture. You have no thought in the world. You are just floating it above maybe your body, and
Yeah,
the energy is full front. uh my eyes closed. A lot of people also
right.
can trance channel with their eyes open. I'm not one of them. I feel more comfortable with my eyes closed, because there's some famous people. What is her name?
Uh-huh. I see her, Theo. I
Yes,
see
her.
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 I saw her.
Yeah.
And so
She.
I think that's what I wanted to validate or specify, that your modality is more of the trance channeling, where you will see when we do our sessions, she'll
Mhm.
be all the way out and laying down in her blindfold in her headset. And so, like, she will be guided.
Yeah.
Whereas I think you kind of helped me understand the stream channeling is more my modality
Yeah.
and my method. And I think that's how I'm able to make things sound so nice
Yes.
most of the time.
Oh, I'll
Um,
absolutely.
so I understand most times when those things come out so beautiful, I too am like, wow, that was nice. Where'd that come from? So I understand.
Yeah. And I know I can feel it when you're doing it. Like in the beginning of this episode, it was chef's kiss.
And you too, we can see the energies around you, like the lights are shifting and stuff, especially when you're talking about going through it and the energies that your chakras are using or the different guides. You had a blue one show up and a yellow one show up. So they're definitely, and then I even saw some light kind of come out of your mouth.
Really?
So yeah, so I wanted to say, like, energetically speaking, we can always tell the
Mhm.
people that are a little more tuned, a little more. And so if you're around people like this and you're feeling a little extra, don't gaslight yourself. Like it is present, it is in the air. And because we are all increasing and we are all, dare I say, let's tread lightly because if we're all kind of amped up, maybe not eggshells, but let's walk with a little more grace. Let's walk with a little more understanding. Know that we are all up a little higher than we are normally. And
Mhm.
maybe things might be taken a little bit or things like, and so allow both you and myself grace to slow down just a minute, find love again, and then start forward. Because there's a lot in earth that we're stumbling over because we just haven't got it right. But no one's asking for perfection. We're just tweaking in progress and presentation. Just show up, presence over perfection at this point.
Absolutely. Yes. And this is why we wanted to create this podcast because we really have Danielle has so much amazing channel information. I know, and I'm excited for her to share and us as well. So you are going to be seeing more about, how we channel the information we bring through. And so going forward, I do want so I talked about me. Can
Okay.
you talk a little bit about how you got into this and how did your awakening start?
So I think like a lot of us, the awakening has come like a slap in the face. It has come from left field and it was something never in our sights.
Yep.
And it isn't a calling because you were born to do this. You weren't born finding this, you were born to do this. So
Hmm.
this is something you didn't wake up looking for. It was something you woke up hearing the call. And so there's just a lot of shifting that's happened in the 3D and the 5D to even get this me where I am today is just if you told me 10 years ago this is where I would be, I would laugh in your face. I was going to be a doctor and I was going to save the world one patient at a time and everything was going to be scientifically proven. And here I am talking to the stars in the middle of the night because I can't sleep again at 3 in the morning and don't know why.
Yeah.
And now I've gone from seeing people and taking blood and doing surgeries to now talking to people's past loved ones, their higher selves, helping people determine their best choices and learning their own spirit guides and attuning to their own highest frequencies and trying to help people just self-navigate. There's been a lot of change in this world, but I do think the number one focus has always been like human growth and love and longevity.
Oh yeah.
Even if I'm a doctor, even if I'm in the medical field, even if I'm a spiritual practitioner, I think my number one focus has always been the authentic heart, making sure that people just feel okay to be who they are in the space that they're in. There's a lot of disconnect from human connection that I believe has been over a generations is the goal to try to create any sort of disconnect as possible. And I'm convinced my goal this life is to make sure connection is my only focus.
Huh.
And so I know that there is let's call it a harmony in the chaos, almost like a home that's lived in, toys all over the place, and you might be stepping on Legos and you might be stepping over toys, but it's important to know that those are happy children in a happy home in a safe space with
Yeah.
love to grow. And I think knowing that the way we were brought up or the way we were taught might have been a perspective, but if we could tweak it with a little less judgment, it might look a little more messy, but the best things in life are loved on look rough, like your favorite toy or I'm
Yeah.
getting choked up. Or like your favorite blanket or like your favorite pot that you love to cook in. It has that love
Yeah.
because it's come with use.
Oh my goodness. And so I actually want to piggyback off that because I love the way you speak. So I also want to the audience to know that yes, we're spiritual practitioners, but I also want to reach out to the people that are doing everyday jobs, everyday things. You are all we're going to get into this a little more in another episode, but I do want to preference just a little bit about you know, what we are here to do on earth. Like you could be a doctor, you could be a nurse, you could be a teacher, whatever job that you are doing, and even if you're not spiritual awakening or any of that kind of thing, it all plays a crucial part on earth, whatever we're doing. And everything all comes down to love. To be honest, exactly what you were talking about. Love,
If your heart is in it,
yes, if your heart
do
is
it.
whatever you're doing, it could be anything, and you are doing it for the right reasons. That is what it's going to show for. That is what is very important at this time. So,
And dare I say, until that heart space was activated, a lot of my life felt very, I had to put it together.
yeah.
And now that this is what's leading me, if it has this, I'm kind of just like, oh, well, I guess that's where I go. It's no longer me finding where I fit, but
Yeah.
me on the road that I fit on.
And that makes a lot of sense. And I think that's super important because a lot of people are really going for things that make you a bunch of money or do things, and it's really comes down to like that happiness, that thing that like brings you joy, that like you're like, yeah, like every day you're motivated to do it, or you find peace in doing it. Um, and so my guides always talk about that, about leading
Mhm,
with your heart and everything, anything that makes you happy, and any purpose that you're wanting to do and that makes you happy, do it. Like you're on the right track. So
mhm,
yeah.
mhm. And they often say things like, don't ask for money, ask for the things that you want to go do. You want money to go on vacation, say you want to go on vacation.
Yeah.
And think about it in a different perspective because sometimes your heart doesn't love money. And
Yeah.
so when you're asking for those things, it could create a limitation or a blockage. And so I
Yeah.
thought that was important to bring up too. A lot of us were always like, I would be so happy if I had money. Would
Yeah.
you? Would
Exactly.
you?
Money isn't everything, but forming relationships, bonds with the people that you love that's the money right there for me.
That's abundance.
Yeah, that's abundance, I always, and we're gonna get into this in another episode, but I watch those NDE stories and it's like they're on the other side and the guide's like, hey, this and you did that and you were very unhappy doing this. And I think that brings so much light into and direction into like where we're going, how we're navigating life within ourselves. Anybody, any regular human, if you're a human on this earth and you're here living life, you all have a purpose here, whether it's the smallest little thing. Everyone has a purpose here, and it's not always what you think it is, that you have to go in this certain direction. It's basically happiness, building, beautiful friendships, and really having your heart into it, doing things, doing also, guides always talk about doing something kind for people, doing things that are, kind, a stranger, anything where you're not expecting anything in return. 1,000% is
Hmm.
helping your soul evolve in some way.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. Like, what's an exercise that we do that helps us channel or get into a zone? Something about a space in peace, and then something about a space in not peace.
Yeah.
So here, let me start to maybe clear things up a bit. Some of my general practices to help me stay spiritually attuned, right? In a peaceful moment, I will always try to um, make sure that I'm integrating all light and darkness. And then I try to say, hey, can I just be balanced in my highest timeline? And I try to meditate and align myself within a bubble of peace. And I normally, they'll give me the shape. It's a scale, a balancing scale, like a Libra scale, or ironic. And I wait till the scales balance and I say, is this for my highest good? And they say yes, and we move forward. And then something I love to do when I'm in absolute chaos and everything is just blah and I can't control anything and the kids are literally running in circles, going screaming. If I'm at my house, my guides will tell me, sit on the floor and meditate right now
Hmm.
while they're screaming, while you need to go do dinner, while you need to do the dishes, while you need to do the lunch, sit down right now.
Yeah.
Sit down right now, give yourself 10 minutes. And I think that has been something that has really, really helped me because if I'm out and about or something outside where I can't sit, like in the bank line, right?
Mhm.
I'll be able to put myself in that space in my brain. And it helps me try to, I guess, ease some sort of uncontrolled chaos that maybe was unforeseen or something.
Yeah. Okay. So yes, actually do some other certain things and practices every day. So kind of similar to what you do, but I have an intention that an old teacher gave me. And I set my intention with that intention every morning. And then she also wanted us to, like, when we before we go to bed, we set an intention to cleanse and clear our energetic body while we sleep. And then the other thing that I do that I really like is, I mean, we and you talked about sound frequency, and I like to listen to like sound bowls or any kind of like so what do they call it?
So
Solfeggio?
for geo frequencies. Hmm.
Yes, before I go to bed, but mostly sound bowls. I'll pop in the headphones and I'll just fall asleep to the sound bowls. I have an app that's called Insight Timer, and it has billions of meditations, billions of like courses and stuff. It's a yearly thing that you pay for, and it has just an index of everything. And so they
I
do have like
love that.
sound bowl sessions on there, and then I'm just pop those in. I literally can tell the difference when I don't do it and I do it. The balancing of how balanced I feel, and also when I set that intention every morning to be shielded, to be protected against anything that is not of light, um, to balance and oh no, it's balance and cleanse my energy from the inside to the outside. And yeah, it just has everything I need for the morning to kind of get my energy straight. And when I'm in those chaotic times where I'm just also the same, we all, everyone could relate to this, where I have kids too, where I'm just like, oh my God, no one's listening to me. Like, and so when I'm
Mhm.
and I think for me, I think my guides always say you need to connect to your breath. Connect to your breath. So I'm just sitting there and I'm just like, it's okay. Like being angry and being upset is totally okay, but just let it pass through and you just breathe it out. And I'm like,
Mhm.
okay. And I just breathe or I also catch myself mentally, and this could even be like my guides talking to me, but when I'm getting frustrated or upset, I hear them. I either it's me talking to myself or them talking to me, but they're like, I hear in my head, okay, you're angry. And then after you feel the anger, it's okay. There's nothing happening, nothing bad is happening. Release that and then go about your day. And then they always bring my awareness to my emotions. And then I actually think that helps a lot because before I would just be like, "Ah," and not think about it. And so, right, sometimes they'll talk to me and they'll be like, listen, you feel that, right? Yeah, I feel that I'm upset. And then they're like, and then they'll be like, okay, now breathe and everything's okay. And I'm like,
And
oh,
it like
yeah. And it just disintegrates. And it's like, okay,
mm.
yeah, there's nothing to get all crazy about it. Just let it go.
Right. And I'm like, I didn't like it. That doesn't mean I have to add to the anger. So like
Uh-huh.
yes.
And it's really being in, and I think that also plays a pivotal role in us being aware of ourselves because we're so like electronics and everything, and we don't think before we act most of the time. We just go, 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 especially where I'm from. I'm from California. Everything's fast life, fast paced. And so I feel like none of a lot of us don't really like step and listen to what's really happening in the body and like, and we're just like, oh, life is lifing, like, And
Yeah.
so,
I do believe humanity has been hyper attuned to
yeah.
some sort of AI,
Hmm.
um, what is that? Like homeostasis. We kind of need to remember we are organic. We have to
Yeah.
plug back into nature. We
Yeah.
don't take a charge cord like your phone does.
It's true. And
Hmm.
so doing these things, these practices, anything, I mean, from meditation, sound, cleanse
Breath.
with intention, baths, uh, sage, Palo Santo, anything that you feels like home to you and comfortable to you. I mean, it's very important that we really like work on the energetic body and cleansing and doing all those things before we, and it's not, it doesn't even have to be opening spiritually. It could be, you can pick up things in your daily life like work, schools, we're out on the streets constantly, we're constantly exchanging energy with everybody. And so it's important to kind of be like, this is mine, that's yours, keep it there, refresh, renew, um, daily. Because I have noticed a difference when you start doing those kind of things and we're like magnets energetically, we're constantly um picking up things and they're lingering. So
Hmm.
always play that in mind. I just had a
Yeah. No, I love it. I think it's a wonderful thing to add because remember, like attract like, and
yeah,
we are all energy. And if we are all magnetic, whatever you're saying is being reflected back at you. So just make sure that you're trying to mind your emotions, your P's and Q's. Let those dissolve. Let them help you inward instead of going outward because it really does make a difference.
yeah,
And these are all tiny little attunements because you and I said this before we were talking before. I was like, dare I say, this is energetic foreplay for
yeah,
us getting to a higher state of being. All of these tiny little testings, all these tiny little lessons, they're going to get you to that higher place of awareness where you can do this, where you are downloading all day, where you are streaming, where you are trancing, and you don't necessarily need to be in a temple to connect to your guides. The idea you were speaking of earlier, where every single one of our jobs are so very important, the teacher, the preacher, the healer, the the construction worker. I drive past these men all day long saying, thank you so much for taking care of me. Thank you for working on the power lines. Thank you for cutting the trees. Thank you for being a part of the city and doing all these things. There's a lot of energy I think we throw around like willy-nilly, unknowing, like
mhm.
anger in traffic. We could be really harming others not knowing, like every just turn your music on and shut up. Like just be happy. Stay here, go inward, let that dissolve. Stop it. We have to
Yeah,
try to do better. And it starts with those tiny little lessons. And
it really does.
let's re-understand that even if everyone 5D tomorrow, we're still gonna have traffic.
Yeah.
It's not gonna go away. It won't be utopia overnight. And we all still want to drive. Everybody loves to do those things. So I don't know, pivot. And then one more thing. We were talking about that app where you said the year subscription. I wanted to validate for those who don't have the money or want to spend all of those sounds. So Fulgio frequencies, trickling of water, birds chirping, all kinds of attunement sounds. YouTube for free. They
Yes.
have that YouTube Red. I think it's $6.99 a month.
Mm.
You don't have to pay for it, but it does get rid of commercials. But those things work just as well. I pump them on the house all the time. Most times, I feel like I'm healing the walls of the home.
Yeah.
And I ask the trees, I'm like, hey, can we share a little energy? I'll pump this if you pump me. And so, like, sometimes I think even if you're just setting the intention of putting that energy in a space, is so helpful. Like you were saying, I could feel it when I'm off balance. And like I can tell,
Me too.
I really feel that. Even sound makes such a difference. We've got these chiming bells, and you can go all out, but this is just as
Yes.
significant. It's
Yes, it is.
just as helpful. Don't forget that you can even just clap your aura clean. You can clap yourself out of it. Like, hey, let's get up and we are tools. These are tools for a reason. And so use them to your advantage.
Absolutely. I like that you said that. Yeah, we're constantly interacting with everybody and just be aware of your surroundings. Also, be aware of what you're feeling. So like if you're feeling off, you need to do some kind of cleanse, you need to do some kind of energetic realignment to
Rooms you
get,
walk in, people you talk to.
yeah, if you feel like, dang, why did I get so mad after that? Like there's a reason. Please realign and check yourself, your energy. Even if you have friends that do, Reiki, anything kind of cleansing, please reach out and, if you know your intuition never lies. And that's you being intuitive, actually. They just like pop that in my head.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's you being intuitive. That's you really picking up on, hey, like I normally don't get mad and then I just got upset about that. So please check your frequency. Um,
Use your discernment.
use your discernment, like how she said, there's a lot of free tools online that you can look up and find. There a lot of people are offering their services for free. There's a lot of videos out there
Yes.
to really help you realign and get you back on track.
And just remember, the idea of having a spiritual experience as a human doesn't mean it's only a spiritual one. It is an integrative process. It is a part of the experience. And this can become toxic too, just like anything else. And allow spirituality to become a grounded part of your intuitive process and not just the only thing you stand on, because you are here for a human experience too.
Yes, and get out in nature, go see the trees, the mountains, anything like how you just talked about grounding. Put your feet on grass, your bare feet on grass. If you're not aware of what grounding is, really get your feet in nature, water, anything. It just really restructures your energetic field and it helps you balance everything and it cleanses your body too. So,
Mhm.
that's something important. If you're not aware of that, please go ahead and get yourself out in some way on a weekend, whenever you have time. It's really important. And it's beautiful because where I live out here, my outside is a bunch of huge trees with like grass. And every time I'm just
Nice.
walking the little path, I'm like, I'm like, I feel good. It feels good to be around here. And so, yeah, I think we'll close it with that. We are so grateful that you are here. And if you've lasted this long listening to us, super, super grateful.
We'll
And
see you next time.
we have so much in store. We have a lot to talk about.
And we would love ideas of
Yeah,
things to talk about. If there's anything you question,
yeah,
we will channel and go under and ask questions. We'd love to
absolutely.
share some of our channeling sessions with you guys and expand.
Yes, and any positive feedback that you have, anything, honestly anything is welcomed. We are going to have, I do want to have some guests, special guests, in the near future once we get, more episodes rolling. And we are excited to kind of share our information, to share our insights and our knowledge and wisdom with you guys, along with our guides. Stay tuned for more episodes, and we will see you guys real soon.